Somnambulism means 1. A very deep state of hypnosis. 2. Only about 20 to 25%, only about 20 to 25% of the people, only about, when I use the term for the purposes of hypnosis, the term has a slightly detailed and little different meaning. So start writing. Somnambulism means Somnambulism means 1. A very deep state of hypnosis. 2. Only about 20 to 25%, only about 20 to 25% of the people, only about 20 to 25% of the people could go into such a state. Only about 20 to 25% of the people could go into such a state. Next point. These people, these 20 to 25%, go into such a state simply because of their own psychological makeup, and not, underline the word not, and not because of any power on the part of the hypnotist, and not because of any power on the part of the hypnotist. Last 2 points. Any stage hypnotist, there is one in town right now. Any stage hypnotist, no matter how good or bad he is, any stage hypnotist, no matter how good or bad he is, can only work with somnambulistic subjects on the stage. Last point. Clinical research suggests that about 90% of the people could achieve some degree of hypnosis if motivated. Okay, let's go over it point by point. First thing, somnambulism is a very deep state of hypnosis. That's synonymous with the deep hypnosis. Secondly, only about 20 to 25% are capable of going into this state. And these people go into such a state not because the hypnotist is fantastic, but because they are excellent subjects, because of their psychological makeup. You understand the point? Now, any stage hypnotist, means lots of them have come here to Bombay and other parts of India. Any stage hypnotist who performs shows with hypnosis can only use this best subject for the purpose of the show, because he needs highly susceptible people to perform what he suggests, because he gives them very complicated set of suggestions to carry out. Like a tiger is running after you and the person will hallucinate that there is a tiger running and he will start running around, or mosquitoes are biting you, so people will start scratching, or there is a terrible smell, so the person will close his nose, and make faces, and people will laugh. So these are the suggestions given to those subjects which they accept. So they have to be excellent subjects, and we call them somnambulistic subjects. Now, the obvious question is, how does the stage hypnotist know? How does he know who are those somnambulistic subjects, right? That's the obvious question. I'll give you the answer in topic 2. How does he find out? It's a very easy way to find out. Okay, the last point is clinical research suggests that about 90% of the people could go into some state of hypnosis. They could achieve some depth, some degree of hypnosis, which also implies that 10% of the people are generally insusceptible, right? So you ask, who are they? Am I one of them? When I say who they are, you wouldn't want to be one of them. Let me tell you who they are. Hypnotism has been used successfully in analysis and as a therapeutic tool. Now, says Dr. Herbert Spiegel, a psychiatrist at Columbia University in New York, it can be used as a diagnostic tool. A person easily hypnotized was once considered to be weak-minded and probably mentally unstable. This was the old belief. Just the opposite is true, explains Dr. Spiegel. The capacity to be hypnotized, he says, is related to the ability to respond in an attentive, sensitive, disciplined state of concentration. I repeat, the capacity to be hypnotized is related to the ability to respond in an attentive, sensitive, disciplined state of concentration. The group that is insusceptible includes people with schizophrenia, psychopathologies, severe depressions and character disorders, mental deficiencies, and some neurological problems. So these are the people that form that group. Now, one more clarification I want to offer you, and that is, just because you could be hypnotized does not mean you would be hypnotized. You see? For example, just because you can afford a television does not mean that you're going to go out and buy one. Maybe you don't need one. Maybe you don't like television. Does it make sense? So just because you could get hypnotized does not necessarily mean that you would. There are other factors which will make that decision for you, or which will influence your decision. Say one of you comes to me and says, oh, hypnotize me, try me, and you are defiant about it. I wouldn't even bother, first of all. Same person is told by the doctor, you are suffering from cancer and you better stop smoking and hypnosis will be helpful. Before you walk into my office, you are highly motivated, assuming you want to live. Yeah, some people don't care. So, assuming you want to live, then you are highly motivated. Before you walk into my office, you are already ready for hypnosis. Does it make sense? So the same person at a different time might be highly motivated. So this motivation varies from time to time and needs of the subject.
They might be motivated, but they might also be afraid.
That is true. They might also be afraid. That is another thing.
Then how would that affect?
So then a good hypnotist, or a good hypnotherapist rather, would remove that fear. That is the process of conditioning, which is, as I say, what to do before hypnosis. That is the conditioning part, which we'll talk about in topic 2. All right, because that is very crucial part. 90% of the work is conditioning the subject, because to hypnotize somebody is the easiest thing. That's the simplest part. How to prepare him for it. convince him for it, or persuade him. Now, during this time, there was a priest from Goa, India. This is the first time India features in the history of hypnosis. His name, Abbe Faria. Abbe Faria got up to deliver a sermon once, and he felt extremely nervous. And his father, who was sitting in the audience or congregation, told him, "Bhaji kapta tasachka," chop them like vegetables. And he took it symbolically to mean give it to them, as it were, or really do a great job. And he gave one of the most moving sermons, Abbe Faria. And he realized that mesmerism maybe was rooted in suggestion and it had nothing to do with magnet, because this suggestion worked on him. So he started mesmerizing people by simple words without the use of magnet. Later on, a doctor, Scottish physician, Dr. James Braid, here is what he looked like. Dr. James Braid went to witness a demonstration of mesmerism. He wanted to challenge the mesmerist, but when he saw the demonstration, he realized that the theory that explained the trance state may not be valid, but the trance state itself was genuine. He started mesmerizing his patients without the use of magnet. And when he succeeded in doing so, just by talking and giving them suggestion, he coined a term, new word in English language, hypnosis, in 1841. So this is the man who gave us the word in 1841-42. The word comes from hypnos in Greek, meaning sleep. Hypnos in Greek means sleep. So he gave us the term hypnosis in 1841-42. So the difference is that of theory, Gupta Sahab.
Yeah.
You get the difference. Hypnotists believe that it happens because of powers of suggestion, and the hypnotist has no power over the subject. It's the subject's ability to get hypnotized. And in that sense, even if I hypnotize you, it is essentially self-hypnosis. Because unless you are ready for it, you wouldn't accept my suggestions. You get the difference? While mesmerists believe by willing the magnet, they can do it to you. That's the major distinction. Let me give you an analogy. So a hypnotist basically is like a driving instructor. Say you have never seen a car in your entire life and you decided to learn how to drive. On the first day, who will be in the driver's seat? You or the instructor? You.
Yes.
You. Instructor will not be driving. You will be in the driver's seat and he will point it out that this is the steering wheel, these are the brakes, and this is the accelerator. And he will point out all the stuff to you. And then he will tell you to do this, that, and the other. And you are translating basically his instruction. You are telling, he says, this is the brakes. You say, yeah, these are the brakes. Watch out, there is a red light. You tell yourself, watch out, there is a red light. Basically, he is guiding you through the process of learning. Does it make sense? In the same way, any hypnotherapist also is guiding you through the process of hypnosis. When I say your eyes are becoming very, very heavy and you are feeling very relaxed, if you say, I would rather drink a beer, then your eyes might become heavy for different reasons. But it's not because of my suggestions, right?